Sing it with me now. Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. I was alone, I never knew what good love could do. Ooh, let me tell you, they were saying about loving things. Sing it. All night, oh, every night. You hold tight, oh, baby, hold tight. Everybody, any way you want it. She said, that's the way you need it. What could love be to you? Ooh, then we touch, then we say about loving things. Ooh, all night, oh, every night. Hold tight, oh baby, hold tight. She said, that's the way you need it, any way you want it. She said, any way you want it, that's the way you need it, any way you want it. Give me the red.
Hi guys, hugging around. What's up, Minncon? How's everybody doing today?
Hey guys. How about this, guys? A real theater, a real stage.
This is like a real deal, man.
I know. All weekend long, we've been running around like ants. It's just like using all the space. Allow me to make this official. Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the surrounding counties, please, won't you welcome Jensen and Jared Padalecki.
It's a cool little fishbowl over there. I'm pretty sure I snapped my hamstring on that one. I know I did. I'm getting old.
I was doing the Michael Phelps warm-up.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, if I was on the blocks next to him and pop, pop, what the? I'm not racing that guy.
They're like, they all go
Yeah.
like,
I love you, whoever you are.
yes, you.
Yeah, hi, how are you? My people. Yeah, hi. It is great to be back. How about Jeffrey D. Morgan there, huh? Old Papa Winchester. Finally get down to Atlanta and kill some zombies. Winchester style.
Show them how it's done.
And
Whoa,
I love you.
whoa. Take it easy. I sense like a Brexit happening. It's like, I love you, Jensen. No, I love you, Jared. Scratch, scratch, claw, bite.
We both love all of y'all, so just to be clear. Legitimately. Who's a first timer today? So far, so good? We like to say it's our wonderful, dysfunctional, and wonderfully dysfunctional family. So we're happy to be a part of it and happy that y'all are too.
How about these guys, huh?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Hey, Jared, why don't you tell us about your bocce skills last night? How much money did you lose?
In paying to get the bocce court or in losing to you guys? We really wanted to play bocce last night. We ended up at a Brits pub. Anybody been to Brits pub? Yeah. And one of my dear friends, one of my groomsmen actually lives here in town. We got together last night and we walked over and went upstairs and I was like, there's a giant outside bocce court. But they were packed up and we tried to name drop ourselves, name drop our friends. It was like, I know Jennifer Love Hewitt.
They were like, get out.
They're like, we ended up having to bribe two guys.
Yeah, so we're standing there on the pitch, and we're talking to the person that's in charge of this.
Is it a pitch?
I don't know.
How do you know the lingo?
Because
you were like bocce sharking me last night.
I did. I totally hustled him last night. So they're like, oh, there's a waiting list of people to get on to the field and stuff. And we're like, oh, all right. Well, we don't want to bump anybody off the list.
I did.
And then, but then there were these two guys over on one of the courts there. They were just sitting there. They weren't even playing. And I'm like, well, these guys aren't even playing. I'm like, hey, Jared, why don't you go over there and maybe see if you can't bribe those guys off and let us take their spot. That way we're not actually bumping somebody.
By Jared, we should go do this. He meant like, hey, Jared, go walk over there and try and hand him some cash. And I was like, them? Okay.
So,
in all fairness, I worked till 3 a.m. yesterday morning, Vancouver time, so I was a little tired yesterday.
So Jared walks over, he's walking over to the thing, and we're still back there, and he's talking to the guys, he's doing this, and then I see him go. And then the two guys gleefully skip away, and Jared just goes. And so, but here's where it took a turn. So we get on we start playing.
By the way, I think the first thought that occurred to me was like, yay, we get to play bocce. Instantly, the second thought occurred to me was like, I offered them too much because they didn't even negotiate. They were like, you're gonna give us $100
Have
just
fun
to play bocce? All right. And then one of the guys was like, well, how much was it? 150. And the other guy was like, no, 100 is fine. Like, don't scare them away. I want $100 or something.
So they take off, and then we start playing, and about 15 minutes goes by, and the lady who's kind of in charge of she walks up and she's like, okay guys, your hour's up. We're like, what? They're like, yeah, those guys only had it, and it changes every hour. I'm like, so he just paid for 15 minutes? Luckily, the next group on the list were no-shows, so we ended up getting to stay on and play for a little while. And
way too long. Turns out Jeffrey Dean and Jensen are little bocce Olympians.
Yep. It was the Oldens versus the Youngins last night, and the Oldens prevailed.
They did, yeah. Rematch tonight. Without further ado, let's get to some questions. Let's start with my side.
Alright. First of all, I was just wondering if I could get a J-squared hug, and then also, on the show, you had a supernatural convention through the books, and I'm just wondering now that you guys are actually having supernatural conventions out through the TV show, how you guys feel about that, now that it's evolved to this.
Well, the conventions actually came before the TV show. I mean, not... Figure that one out. It's supernatural.
Is this one of your riddles?
Shush! Go, I love you. Go practice bocce or something.
Don't make him feel better. This is.
Let him falter and flounder. No, I mean, we did the convention episode, season 4, so we'd already started to learn kind of what conventions were all about. But for those who haven't joined us before today, we often say that Supernatural, obviously these conventions wouldn't exist without Supernatural, but Supernatural wouldn't exist without these conventions. So it's a chance for us to kind of meet people face to face and see who made this show last for 12 seasons. So thank you guys. Thanks, darling.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you cast to play yourself?
The guy who was climbing the Trump Tower.
Meryl Streep.
She could do it.
She can do anything.
I joked, my agent texted me after I tweeted the picture of Bizarro Jarpad. And he was like, "That's not you, right?" And I was like, "No, it's not me. I'm in Vancouver." And I was like, "The good news is, if they ever make a documentary about the guy who climbed the Trump Tower, I know I got a job." So, it's pretty funny. And then I saw it on CNN. I was so happy. I was like, hee. I slammed open my trailer door and I was like, "Everybody, come here!" Jensen is in his trailer next door. He's like, "What?" Like Cliff and everybody is inside my trailer. I'm like, "What?" And so, fun times.
And then they pick a photo of you where you're like,
Oh, like doing the church lady or something. It's an awful photo. I took a picture. I'll tweet it. Yeah, it was a really horrific photo. It was like one of those ones where you're yawning or something. So it's a picture of the Trump Tower guy and me, like, I mean, super, super flattering. But yeah, at least I'll have the job. This is all done. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So back in May, Jules State was on that exact stage, and she was asked about being on Supernatural, and she went on to tell a story about running into you guys at a restaurant. And she said she came in, but she didn't want to interrupt you guys, so she just went to her table. And then she said you guys came over and were like, "Hello, did you not see us?" So I'm just wondering if you could kind of tell us your side of that story, where you're like, "Did she not see us? Why did she come over here?" Just your side.
You know what's funny is that I think a lot of it's so bizarre sometimes because you meet somebody, you work with them, you enjoy their work, but they don't feel. I think there's also like a mutual respect of entertainers and actors and musicians where, if somebody's eating, you don't want to be interrupted while you're eating, and so they don't want to interrupt you, but you certainly want to say hi and give a big hug or something. And so I think she was just, she's a professional. She's been around for a long time and done some great work for a long, long time. And so I think we kind of were like, maybe she saw us, maybe she didn't, but if she didn't see us, let's go say hi. If she did see us and she was just being kind by not, like, as we're in the middle of a big bite of food, interrupting us, so we decided to go and say hi. But she's rad. I wish she'd come back.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Hi. A quick gushing first was within 48 hours of Red Meat, I watched it 4 times. I am so impressed that after 11 seasons you could put something of that quality out. Jensen broke me talking to Billy.
Awesome.
So my question is, if you did a follow-up to Changing Channels Now, what TV shows would you want to parody?
The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Any nondescript superhero, because there's too many of them. What was it? I was like,
Game of Thrones.
No, we were doing some photo shoot on the Flash set, as some of you might know. And also the Arrow set was right next door. They were saying it was a day of They said it's a day of superheroes, because it's also Legends of Tomorrow, too. So it's a day of superheroes and real heroes. I think, Game of Thrones,
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Real Housewives of Sheboygan.
And the Olympic swimming trials. Strap on that Speedo and let's go swim.
It's on, Jared. It's already on.
It's hydrodynamic.
Thank you.
Gilmore Girls.
They're actually parodying themselves right now. I won't stoop that low. I'm just kidding, Kim. I love you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Oh, all right.
I know they're loud.
So, what is your favorite part of being fathers?
Spinning in my chair.
Acting like children.
God. I agree. Jensen, ha ha. Does anybody out there have twins or?
Where are my twins out there?
Where are my
Twindians. Twins. Yeah.
Awesome. Your parents
I'm
are
about to
saints.
feel your parents' pain.
That is such a difficult question to answer. There's so many cool things. There's the classic where they say, "I love you, Daddy," or but it's a really weird responsibility. But sometimes my favorite part right now, being a parent of two, my favorite is when I see my kids like telling each other secrets and laughing and playing, and it's almost like, oh my God, they're 4 and 2, they're not ready to go out into the world. But Jen and I will be there with Tom and Shep, and they'll interact with us, and then they'll, with each other, go play together, or like be playing with toys together, or telling secrets, or laughing, or giggling, or wrestling, or something. I'm like, that's so cool. Like, they're almost human beings. I guess but at first you're like, it's this little thing you don't want to break. And I'm a big guy, and I don't want to like break anything or mess them up. And then you see them play with each other, and you're like, you know what, they're going to be all right. So that's my favorite, is seeing them interact.
I had a moment the other day. I was carrying JJ. She fell asleep on the couch, and so I picked her up and I was carrying her upstairs to put her to bed, and she kind of stirred and kind of woke up in my arms as I was walking up the stairs, and she just looked up at me with like sleepy eyes. She goes, "You're so strong, Daddy." And I was like, That's a good moment. That was a good moment for me.
To a 3-year-old girl, you probably are really strong.
Speaking of this, total sidebar. Brad, our camera operator, he was doing handheld to the fight scene the other day. And, it's got that top handle to the camera. So he picked it up, he was holding it, and he goes like this. And he lifted it with 2 hands. I'm like, wait, Brett. Curl that. And literally it was like, he went. And I'm like, let me see that. And so I grabbed it, and I was just like, dude, you need to do a push-up.
Oh, Brad. I saw somebody this morning doing the dance.
Oh, we love you, Brad. Hi.
Hi. My question is, if Mary hadn't died in the show, how different would the boys' lives have been? Like, would they have gotten into hunting, or would that life have just always have found them?
Or if Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow, and then everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. They probably have better manners. They probably have better hygiene. They probably wouldn't be hunters, I guess. So Sam would be a lawyer. Dean would be a stripper. A female stripper, if you would have gotten the operation. Car mechanic.
Yeah, I think, and we'll learn this in season 12, that Mary really did try to protect her family from that world that she didn't know. So that's one of the big things that she's going to have to deal with now, coming back and seeing her two sons are hunters and live in that life. Because that was the life that she was trying so desperately to protect them from. So I think that if she hadn't have died, then she probably would have succeeded in protecting her family from a life of hunting. That being said, I think it was inevitable that because she's a hunter and kind of once a hunter, always a hunter. So the life would have found her again and would have ultimately found the family. So yeah, I think that eventually the sons would have had no choice.
Or they could have been farmers, and Mary could have had a real...
Don't start your question with a potential nursery rhyme. I'm just going to put that out there, because Numbnuts here.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for the last 12 entertaining years. And in those 12 years, you both worked with some really badass females. Some of them are like Kim and Brianna and Ruth. And over the years, even though you killed off Charlie.
We did not. Talking monkeys, not riders.
But what I wanted to ask is, of all the ones you've got to play with over the years, work with, which one did you enjoy working with the most and why?
Working with or playing with? I think playing with is obvious.
So, playing songs like that.
I'm going to go with the one he married for him.
Which is the longest prank of all time. Guess what? You're married to me.
Is Brianna still backstage? She is? Brianna.
Brianna, I will say this about Brianna, since A, we just saw her, and B, she's a topic of conversation. She came on as, we've done 244 episodes now because we're 3 into season 12. She was one of those people and one of those actresses that as soon as we did the first take of her first scene of her first day, he and I looked at each other and we were like, she's coming back.
Winner.
We knew instantly in the donut stuff, and we were like, she's coming back, 100,000%. There are a few actors and actresses that have been on the show that as soon as they're on it,
Felicia. Charlie was supposed to be a 1-episode character. They only wrote her for 1 episode, and
Kim
Rhodes, 1-episode story.
Jim.
All right, I think we get the picture.
Misha.
Okay. Now she was supposed to be on for a while. Anyway, I think it's a testament to their talent and their likability and the way that you guys receive them, which is why when people are, and I was one of the, I'm upset that they killed Charlie. Of course, you're never really dead on Supernatural, so
What are you trying to tell us?
How? Spoiler alert! No, just kidding. Or am I? No, I'm just kidding.
Or isn't it?
All day. I used to do that all day. What was I saying? Yeah, so even though I was upset when they were like, "Oh, we're going to kill Charlie," I'm like, "No." You also have to remember that we got her for a lot longer than they had ever intended. Anyway, so I think that's the positive spin on it. But to pick a favorite, I think would be very difficult. I think there have been several that have really been great to partner with on the screen. Certainly the females that are here today and were here this weekend. His wife was a joy to work with. Apparently a joy to be with outside of the set too. I'll never forget it.
What's that supposed to be?
I'll never forget it. Jen sitting there reading her book in her cast chair, and I look over, and what's Jared doing? Not kidding. I just walked by and I was like, yep, that's happening. She doesn't have a chance.
Poor girl. Poor girl. Lisa Barry. I mean, we've had so many.
Lisa's fantastic. Elena.
God,
Ruth.
Shoshana?
Yeah.
I think she might be coming back. Oh, awesome.
There's so many. We've been very fortunate to have the talent come through our doors that we've had. It's been
we've had a lot of doors.
We've had a lot of doors. Yeah.
Tough to pick.
So yeah. Thank you.
Cheers. Hi.
Hey guys. I'm wondering if you can tell us a Sam and Dean story that we haven't seen on screen yet.
Sam and Dean. Little fish.
Something from the past.
A little leather jacket. Sam and Dean.
Jared went fishing and caught himself a salmon, and he named it Dean. So he calls him Sam and Dean. And somehow the salmon is bow-legged. Even with no legs.
Bowfinned.
Bowfinned.
Sam and Dean.
Okay. Tell me about Mary and her sheep.
It's a lamb. It's a little lamb.
Right.
Face as white as snow. White. Not like
But now wait a minute.
Not sludgy snow. Not like yellow snow.
What happened if Mary left?
The lamb was sure to go. After Mary.
So sorry.
She said Sam and Dean.
This is the story that you haven't, because they would never put this on television.
It's true.
It's true. Apologies.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good fish. It's a good fish. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Something my mother used to say, my sisters are actually twins. She said they were actually better well behaved because they entertained each other versus single children that you had to entertain. Just, you know. Just.
That's sweet of you to lie to them like that.
They are my older sisters and they're kind of a pain in the ass, just as a side note, so just saying that. JJ will probably hate them, just.
Started out good.
I'm on her side, I'm just saying. My question was actually if you guys happen to know or actually thought about it, when Chuck brought Kevin out or sent him to heaven, or however you want to say it, I kind of assumed that Kevin was already gone. If came out of the veil or what have you, where's Charlie?
Did you ever think about...
She died after him.
After he died.
Sorry, Mr. Kramer.
Are there any English teachers in the audience? Seriously? English teacher? Don't mess with your kids like you messed with him.
What's funny is my dad...
Or messed with he. Whatever.
My dad, the accountant, was the grammar Nazi. My mom, the English teacher...
You have taken that baton and ran with it.
Run.
Well, you would know more than me.
He'll do a sentence in about...
Yeah, so sometimes I'll go, I'll say like, JJ and I.
Me.
No, JJ and I.
And me.
JJ and I.
And me.
And what about you?
We'll do it across the trailer. I'll be like, yeah, she went to the store with JJ and I. I'll be like, and me. He's like, no, you weren't at the store. It was I.
I'll say, yeah, no, he certainly knows better than me. No, me. Not you, me. We're talking about me. Stop making everything about you!
Whoa, Jesus, take it easy! You're scared of Jensen and me.
And I.
My daughter does it to my text, so I understand.
Gotcha.
Aren't you supposed to get to your daughter's texts?
No, she does it to mine. She's in the stands over there.
Got it. What's up, daughter? I'm just pointing.
Okay.
What was the question again?
What was the question? Where's Charlie?
Yes.
Yes.
Charlie is in purgatory helping Benny.
She's picking some serious ass. Thanks, darling.
All right.
Hi, Jared and Jensen. My name's Richard.
Hey, Richard.
I've been a fan since the beginning. Imagine my surprise when my hometown of Hibbing, Minnesota has been on 2 episodes. Graduated in 05 and you do not sound like that. That's more like the Canadian version.
Well, it's a Canadian playing the part, so...
My question is, have you guys ever actually been to Hibbing or anywhere on the Iron Ranch?
I have not. I would love to. How far away is it from here?
3 hours.
Okay. There's probably not a big airport. You probably just fly here and drive?
No, actually, I live down here now, but...
Yeah.
It's a lot like the first episode of Hibbing, but not quite that bad.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to.
I don't believe you. I'll check it out myself.
One of my personal dreams or hopes, I don't want to call it a dream or a hope because it involves the show ending, But when the show has its true swan song, I would love to go visit some of these cities that we've had in these episodes. I'd love to visit the Midwest and look back. First things first, we gotta make it to Lawrence. I'm dying. Yeah, someone's dying. That was a death knell. Yeah, thanks, brother. Thanks, Richard. Yeah. You're the first Richard I've ever met that I've enjoyed. How's it going, brother?
It's my first con, and I'm here with two guys that I've been mentoring actually for the past 10 years. So they affectionately call me Bobby.
Nice.
so my question...
Are y'all hunters? Yeah.
Well, one of them's single, so he's on the hunt, ladies.
Gotta say, man, you should like your odds right now.
I've been telling them that all weekend. Okay, my question is, being a mentor to, now they were young, now they're young men, did you guys have any role models or mentors in your early life that really helps propel you along in your life?
Yeah, what she said. I did, yeah. The obvious is my father. Another is my brother, believe it or not. And then I had a high school drama teacher, and a lot of the schools in our city, in our district, in our region, were doing very theatrical, like, here I am to enter, but he was very much, I don't want to call him a small-time director, but he was a bad stage director, because he wasn't, if someone's sitting in the very top, he wasn't like, I need you to walk in and say, it's time for you to cut. Like, it was all about, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Like, just sit there, listen, and react. And I think it really kind of formed my acting style, because I'm not a very showy actor. I was talking earlier, like, I don't like doing comedy, because I feel like I'm, like, da-da-da-da-da. So, I would rather feel it. I would rather take it and let it swim around in my psyche as Sam, and then react in kind. So I think he would be another mentor I had at a young age.
He and I are both very fortunate that our dads were very present in our lives, and so that I would say the mentorship from our fathers was probably the most influence. However, there were other folks along the way. One that comes to my mind was in junior high school. One of my coaches, Coach Malcolm. And this guy was there was just a temperament about him. He taught lessons in a way that really stuck with me. He kind of looked and sounded and acted like Ed Harris. To kind of give you so he was a firm and disciplinarian type of coach, but there was a love in his voice that was felt, and it was honest and earnest, and the way he taught lessons they were great, and they stuck with me to this day, and he was he just had a good influence, and that was those years in your life, in a young man's life, a 14, 15, 16-year-old, you're very impressionable, and I was glad that I had people like him, and there were a few others too in my life at that time. Yeah.
Thanks.
One last comment. Jared, I know you represent a lot of us in this, but over 30 years fighting the fight, always keep fighting, man.
Amen. Always keep fighting. Y'all are lucky fellas to have a cool mentor like that.
Hi, my question is, when you guys were filming with Matt Cohen and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, was there a prank ever done to you guys or to them?
I mean, there was one scene where Jeff, he had been shooting like 12 hours on Grey's Anatomy. And then he got on a plane and took like an overnight and flew up to Vancouver and then had a full 12-hour day straight. So he had like, it's like 24 hours of work with about 2 hours of sleep. And he was spent. He's probably told you this story. But the scene was the three of us in a room, and he had a ton of dialogue. And so they just started like posting his dialogue around the room on like cue cards and pieces of paper, anywhere he looked, you know, the ceiling, anywhere. And so Jared and I just took to slapping the things on our foreheads and like in the middle of the take, it'd just be like, it'd be like 3 words, and then he'd move on and look over at Jared. Jared'd just be holding it in front of us, unannounced. You know, he's looking for it on the wall, and he's like, "Where did it go? Oh, Jared has it on his face."
Poor guy.
I know.
Really miserable.
But so yeah, doing anything more than that, pranking him, would have just been unfair at that moment. But yeah, it's, you know, I know we kind of get the pranks kind of get talked about every now and again. There's not a whole lot of thought that goes into sabotaging somebody else's take. It just kind of happens organically.
With Misha.
There's a pie in the face.
Yeah, he was directing.
Yeah.
He wasn't acting.
Yeah, he was directing. I mean, that deserves a pie in the face. But a lot of it is just kind of, you know, spur of the moment kind of messing with people. And I'm sure we've done it to almost everybody that's walked through the door.
There are certain times, and me as an actor, there are certain people and characters that I kind of have to stay in a certain vibe with. And I think anytime Matt's been on the show, it's been so weird for Sam. I love Matt, but it's been so weird for Sam that I'm not method by any means, but I'm not as silly as, say, with Jensen or Misha or something. Because for Sam to see his father as a young guy is really weird, so I kind of get to a headspace in the morning and kind of keep that headspace, you know? It's not like, you know, if you look at a basketball game or a football game or a baseball game and you see the people who aren't on the field or on the court, they're not playing Pokemon Go, they're still there, they're still watching, they're still staying in the moment. It's not like they're going and, you know, reading a book or having a shower or watching a TV. They're kind of staying, the game's on, you know, from the time they call action on the first scene of the day to the time they call that's a wrap at night. For certain instances and certain scenes, your character is in a weird place, you know. Like I always talk about Sacrifice, but the end of season 8 when it was me and Mark Shepard. I mean, that was 3 long, miserable days of me in a bad headspace. But I felt like that's what I needed as a person to get Sam to there. Meanwhile, I love messing with Mark Shepard, but those days I didn't, you know. So, oh dear, but you don't want him to be tipped off. There will be something is in the works right now with somebody, and we're not going to tip it off yet, but y'all will be very excited to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, so I understand you guys have been a little involved with the Kings of Con show that Rob and Richard are doing. Could you tell us what it was like to work with them and what was it like to be guest stars?
I'll never do that again.
Yeah, I mean, talk about Bush League. Just...
Thank you. Next question. Awesome. You start out.
I will say,
I'll watch your 6.
I was pleasantly surprised at the professionalism that was taking place at that
Totally different than
set.
Supernatural.
Yes. Yeah, we showed up in the afternoon, and you know, it was just a well-run production, and it was fun for us because.
I just peed myself.
I will say that they, you know, it was fun watching them be so excited about what they were doing in that regard.
I'm sweating.
Every water bottle he and I drink, that's what happens to it at the end.
Becomes a gun.
Seeing them do, in my opinion, one of the things that they do best is that kind of riffing, that comedy, that style of work and play. So for Jared and I to kind of get into that with them and to be able to participate, and not just in the green room or backstage, to actually do it and record it and make it about something. I really enjoyed it. I wish we could do it more.
There's something really cool, and I've experienced it now twice in the last 6 months. Once was on Gilmore Girls, the Netflix movie. Yeah, it's awesome. I just watched it. The other was on Kings of Con, and that's being on a set that's not all about me. And you know what I mean? Like, I think it was so relieving for us to go like, listen, we're the guest stars. This is amazing. Like, we just, as opposed to being the people who need to like slam the volleyball, we just set it up, you know? And so it was nice to see Rob and Richard, who are both incredibly talented. I'll never say that in front of them, but incredible and smart and funny and talented and, quick as a whip, with great wit. It was nice to just sit there and kind of watch them as fellow actors, where the show was about them, not about us. Like, that was, like, I could have done that all day and all night. It was also nice. I love being part of a set that subscribes to best idea wins. So there was no ego. It wasn't like Rich and Rob came in, they're like, hey, here's what you guys are gonna do, and blah, blah, blah. And if we had an idea, they're like, no, don't like it. They were like, oh, cool, that's awesome. Like, let's give it a shot. You know, if it doesn't work, great, but if it does, we don't have a lot of time for that on Supernatural, because we have, 8 days with however many pages to try and get it to post-production, to try and put on the air a month later. There, it was like, hey, do y'all want to try another one? Do you want to try this? Do you want to try that? Do you want to do one like this or like that? It was kind of cool. It was very different, where, we're in the confines of, we have to make this television show day in, day out, and all eyes looking at us. It was nice to kind of like, to be a fan of who I was working with. Not that I'm not a fan of Jensen, but usually the cameras are on us, And when I say me, I mean us. Like, the cameras are always on. You smell funny. That's all I got. It was great. It was great. I'd like to do it again.
Well, that was just some.
Here's something, Jared.
I
don't see anything.
Thanks, brother. Good
I
job.
don't see anything.
Oh, hey. Good job. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Plenty more where that came from.
I appreciate that.
Keep it up.
Yeah, you got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Kings of Con.
As you were.
All right, good. This will go towards our next bocce bribing.
What?
Don't ask.
Thank you. Here to the left. It was a different Richard Rob we were talking about, but I'll take it. He's back out.
I just blew $20.
Are you just doing laps? Or... trying to stay warm? Stay in the pocket? Okay.
Stay warm. Yeah. Do we have time?
Yeah, how about it? We're just,
nice.
Yeah. We just heard our name and came
we're
out.
just fans.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. First of all, I love you both. And second of all, if you could play any character on The Walking Dead, who would it be?
I would like to be a new character. I'd like a brand new character who shows up and he's got a past we don't entirely know about, but he seems to be really good at what he does. He's got floppy hair. He's tall. His last name is Remington. Smith & Wesson.
You know who we'd like to play on Walking Dead? Sam and Dean Winchester.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, we'd end that show real quick, and we'd end Vampire Diaries. Which is pretty. Can't think of a better reason to use the grenade launcher than a bunch of zombies.
I will say this, in the first 5 episodes of Supernatural Season 12, the grenade launcher makes an appearance. Finally. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello guys, my name is Masha, and my question is for Jared. What was your first reaction? And Jensen, it's a question about you, so relax.
Yeah, take it easy. Where are you from?
Ukraine. I told you.
Okay, yes, we're earlier.
Yeah, she told you in the photos.
She's a shadow right now. I don't see anything.
She's not. She's a
You
person. She has feelings.
I only see movement.
I remember
I'm like a
you.
Tyrannosaurus right now.
Thank you, Jensen.
If you stand really still, I won't see you. But yes, I can see your hair.
My question is, how did you find out, and what was your first reaction about the Echo twins?
The Echo...
Twins.
The Ackles twins.
Oh, the Ackles twins!
No, the Echo 3s. My first reaction about the Echo 3s? Let me make something up real quick.
It's a very multi-layered question. So he and I and our wives are all very close. We see each other on a regular basis, whether we're shooting or not. And when I found out, I think my first instinct was to like pour him a stiff drink and go like, "I'm sorry, man." No, I couldn't be more thrilled for him.
He went into the kitchen where Jen was and said, "Hey, honey, did you hear the news? The Eagles? Yeah, they just caught up and passed us with kids." And then
get to the bedroom.
And then he said, "Get in the bedroom." True story.
I can't let him beat me. I'm thrilled for him. The twins couldn't have better parents, and Tom and Shep are gonna have 2 new friends. So I'm happy for. Yeah, very awesome. Very awesome.
Thank you so much. I love you.
It's the last question. It's the very last one. It's the last question. Ain't no more. It's the last question. And right. It's the last question. It's the last question.
On that one. We're really getting it.
Yeah.
I guess the last question is about you, not the person asking the question. About your scat singing.
Yeah. SBN family, say hi to Brooklyn. So, Brooklyn, don't mess it up. What is your last question? You're not going to mess it up. I'm just teasing.
First, I wanted to thank you for all that you've done with the You Are Not Alone campaign and everything, because that is very near and dear to my heart. My uncle suffered through that and unfortunately lost the battle. After that, I had a lot of troubles with that too. And I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing for everyone now, because I wish that, I would have had everything. And then I wanted to ask Jensen from me and my mom. This is actually my first Supernatural convention, thanks to her. Back there in the crowd. We wanted to know if you would reenact the scream from season 4 in the locker room.
This should be good.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, the surrounding areas, we love you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles. Wow. It happened, Robbie. We're living the dream, baby.
Living the dream.
So much manliness on this stage.
Lots of manliness.
So much musk. I'm bathing it right now.
So much musk.
I'm gonna go home and shower it off, but it won't come off. It's now part of me. Robbie.